Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrienne and today I'm going to be doing a reading wrap-up, but you're going to be watching me assemble a charcuterie board at the same time. Why? I don't know, but it was fun and I thought maybe someone would want to watch that. I don't know. But if you're just interested in the books, then ignore that. But I thought it would be fun to give you something else to watch besides just my face holding books. So anyways, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe so you can see more, and give me other ideas of what you would want to watch me do while I'm doing a reading wrap up. So I'm wrapping up the last books that I've read since my last monthly wrap up on my channel. So I have 10 books to share with you. The first one is Warrior of the Wild by Trisha Levenseller. It's the same author who wrote the Daughter of the Pirate King duology, which I really enjoyed. So this story follows a girl who lives in this village and she's raised to be the next leader of her village after her father. And she's this highly trained warrior, and in the beginning of the book she's in her final days of training and she starts falling for this boy. Everything in her life is going fantastic, and then she gets betrayed by the guy. So the trial is to fight these monster things from outside of their village, and you have to at least kill one monster and not get bitten. And she's this crazy good fighter. She's running around with her new little boyfriend just slaying everybody, and then at the end of the trial she looks down and sees her arm bleeding, and her new boyfriend has the head of one of these monsters and used it to bite her. The ultimate betrayal, because really him and his friends hate her and he was just pretending to like her so he could get close enough to destroy her. And let me tell you, when I read the beginning of this book, I was like, holy crap, this sets a whole new tone. The love interest didn't turn out well, he betrayed her. I'm like, wow, this whole story is gonna take a new turn. I was really excited. So after the trial, she obviously lost, and even though someone saw what really happened, they don't speak up. So she gets banished to the wilderness, and when you lose your trial and get banished, you get given an impossible task. So her father gives her the impossible task of killing this god who collects all these food and jewels and a virgin and all this stuff from the villages every year, as a sacrifice for him to spare their lives. So it's a super all-powerful god, and she is tasked with killing him if she ever wants to come back to her village. So you follow her out in the wilderness, meeting some new friends and deciding she's gonna go try to kill a god. And the premise, really good, but I only gave it 3 stars. Sometimes just the main character was annoying me, and so I know when you're a teenager, love is so consuming, but I was getting really annoyed of how hung up she was on the betrayal from this guy that she was hanging out with for a few weeks, and they had just held hands for the first time. It was not that big of a deal, and she was so stuck on it. And she had bigger family issues that she was worried about but not as worried about. So I just feel like she was distracted, and I didn't love the love interest that she met. I did enjoy him as a character and his best friend as a character, and I did like the story, and it was a standalone, so the world was very contained, which I enjoyed. But yeah, I only gave it 3 stars. Now when I'm describing it, I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. But when I finished reading it, I just didn't feel like it was better than 3 stars. So the next book I listened to, and that was Red Notice by Bill Browder. This is nonfiction. The story of Bill Browder coming up in finance. He was the largest foreign portfolio investor in Russia after the Soviet Union collapsed in the 90s, and he was just over there making a ton of money as an outsider American, which of course attracted a lot of negative attention from Russia and the oligarchy and the government. And I mean, ooh, some crazy stuff happened. I loved the come up story of like just him developing his firm and the troubles he went through and things, and while he was in school and stuff like that. But then, so it takes a turn because, so the Russian government basically was very upset with how much money he was making and taking from Russia. So they seek to destroy him, and they stole from him. They did so much corrupt, crazy stuff to destroy him financially. And then they also wanted to destroy him and his employees as well. And Bill Browder was able to get out of Russia in time, but his tax attorney actually was not. And they tried to use him against Bill Browder. And there's torture and murder, and the story takes a really dark turn. And then it turns into them seeking justice for this man, and how the US government got involved. And yeah, it was a really powerful, unexpected story for me. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would from the description I just gave you, but it was really, really good, and I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read, super exciting, Someone We Know by Sherry Lapina. Sherry Lapina is one of my favorite thriller authors. I had not read this one from her for some odd reason, I don't know, but I finally picked it up. It's a thriller set in upstate New York, and it follows this small neighborhood, and there's this teenage boy who has been sneaking into his neighbors' houses and like hacking into the computer and digging up dirt on all of them. So he knows a bunch of the neighborhood secrets, and when his parents find out, his mom decides to write letters to the 3 people that he confessed whose houses he broke into. And she writes these anonymous letters like, hey, my son broke into your house. I don't think he took anything or did anything bad, but he did do some stuff on your computer. So I just wanted to let you know. And like, it just sends the neighborhood into chaos because there's a lot of shady people out there doing bad things, having affairs. Like, there's all these tangly messes going on. And it just, I mean, it's just one of those fun thrillers that has this small, tight-knit community full of drama, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. And also, I read this right when I was getting deeper into the personality type stuff that you may have noticed on my channel, and the kid who's breaking in people's houses and hacking on the computers is such an INTP. And it was just so funny to see that, to like clearly see my personality represented, especially like me as a young lazy teenager. So good. But yeah, 5 stars. I love that author so much. Next, I read something super random, Pines by Blake Crouch. This follows a Secret Service agent named Ethan Burke, and he is sent to Wayward Pines to find out what happened to 2 Secret Service agents that disappeared. So he goes to this little town in like Idaho or something, and stuff is super weird. So on his first day there, he like finds his dead, decayed body, and there's just all this weird stuff going on. The town is creepy, the people are weird. There is like this cricket chirping sound coming from a bush, and he looks in and it's coming from a speaker. So there's just super weird stuff going on. And this book has crazy plot twists. And one thing I did not like about this book, and I don't like about books in general, is I hate when we're following a main character who is just like suffering, going through it, and they just feel so helpless. Like, I hate when a character is running around in their dirty old clothes, Like, they don't have a shower, they don't have a home to go to, they don't have a car to get around in. They are just like falling apart, and maybe they're injured, like they don't have any socks and their feet are rubbing in their shoes. Like, because I just feel like I'm suffering while I read the book, and I did not like that part. But the intrigue of what the heck was going on in this town kept me going and going. So yeah, I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was such a good plot twist at the end that I had to get, like, I think it was a 3 before I read the final plot twist, and I was like, whoa, my mind is blown. This is awesome. I loved it so much. And then that was actually the first Blake Crouch book I ever read, and I have no idea why I picked that one up first. So then of course I had to pick up Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which is like his hugest hit, claim to fame, and I 100% understand why. I gave this book 5 stars. It's so good. It follows this guy named Jason who's just a normal guy, and back in the day he had an opportunity to follow this path to become like this great scientist, get all these grants and do all this research, and instead he decided to get married because his girlfriend was pregnant, and like go that route instead. And he's a professor at a university but never lived up to his full potential. And one night he is out and he gets kidnapped by this masked guy and taken away, and he's knocked out and given a shot or something. And when he wakes up, like, he's in this science lab, and all the people there like know who he is but not who he actually is. Like, they know he's Jason, but they have a whole different view of who he is. And they say that he went into this box like a 1.5 years ago, and they didn't know what happened, and now he's finally back. And it is a wild ride that involves like parallel worlds and just some crazy stuff, and like just questioning, you know, your life, your existence, and the choices that you make. And it is so good, and I understand why everyone loved it so much, you know, like 2, 3, 5 years ago when this book was super popular. But better late than never. Then, in anticipation for the new Hunger Games book, which I did not read, I reread The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This book surprisingly really withheld the test of, or wait, what's the phrase? Withstood the test of time. It was excellent. It's still 5 stars. I'm not going to describe what it was, but I will say the language is super simple, more so than I remember, but still very impactful, descriptive. Like, I just feel like I'm in the Hunger Games. And I've never watched the movies, but I just remember like the scenes from when I read it before, and it's so immersive for not being a more complexly written book, I guess. But yeah, so good. 5 stars. If you've read the prequel that came out recently, please let me know, because I've been hearing so many mixed things about it that I don't know if I care to read it. And then after that, I got into a bit of a little slump, so I decided to pick up The 18th Abduction by James Patterson, which is book number 18. 18th book in the Women's Murder Club series, which is crazy that I've read so many. And it's funny, I own all of them, but I actually exclusively listen to the audiobooks for all 18 books. And I really enjoy January Lavoie, who is the audiobook narrator. But I mean, 18 books in, and I just feel like we're not going anywhere anymore. I enjoy like the Women's Murder Club, which is these 4 women, like a medical examiner, prosecutor, maybe head detective or something. I don't know. It's these 4 like, oh, and a journalist. These 4 women who like get together to solve murders that each of them are working on. And it just was not good. I gave it 3 stars, mainly for nostalgia's sake. Then another super random read, I picked up Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. This, I'm sure you've seen Gary Vaynerchuk on Instagram or somewhere. He's just this super gregarious business developer, wine selling, motivational speaker, life coach. I don't know. He's just a great, infectious, positive, passionate person. And so this book is about turning your passions and hobbies into a monetizable thing. And yeah, it was pretty good. A little bit insightful. The book is very dated. It didn't age very well just because technology is so involved in it, but I did gain a little bit from it. I don't really have anything to say about it though. 3 stars. And then I was just like, I want some more thrillers. So I picked up The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. This book follows this group of 4 girls who went to this private school for a little bit together, like out on this little island or little beach town thing, and they're these 4 best friends, and something happens, a body washes up or something in the little town, and the girl who lives there like tells the other 3 like, I need you, come, you know, come here, whatever. So they're all reunited, waiting to find out what happened, what's going on, why does she need them, blah blah blah. Pretty much you know that they committed a crime together or did something shady together, but you don't know what, and they're like all panicked about it. And yeah, it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars, but I spent a lot of the build-up time when they're like trying to figure out what to do, but like we don't know what they did yet before. Like, I have a very dark mind, like dark. I thought they did so many horrible, awful things, or that the situation they were in, like I had some dark ideas, crazy stuff, like a long list of like nutty things that could have happened. And when it was finally revealed what happened, I'm like, that's it? Why did you have so much build up for that? But I did enjoy like the setting and like the flashbacks to the private school and like finding out their little secrets and little townspeople. It's like this creepy little town with like all these weird people there. Well, but yeah, and one thing, this is super random, but the like main girl from the 4 that you're following is a mom who has a baby. And this book, like, having a character with a small baby did so well of actually including the baby and like how central her life is to the baby, and like it has nothing to do with the really the plot of the book, but just like how much the baby and the baby stuff and her sleeping and her crying and her stroller, like all that stuff, like actually played so much role in this woman's life, like just throughout the story casually, that I was like, oh wow, that's like how you write a person with the baby. Even though the baby's not the main plot point, like I really appreciated how much it was realistic to a character with a baby. That's random, but yeah, the mystery and stuff was fine. Like I didn't love the plot twist, but I did enjoy the mysteriousness of it, although I didn't love the actual mystery as much, if that makes sense. So then finally, more and more thrillers. I picked up The Last Flight by Julie Clark. This follows 2 women who want to escape their lives, and when they meet at an airport, they decide to swap tickets and like get a real fresh start, escape their old lives, go somewhere new. So once they swap, one of the planes crash. So the woman who took the ticket of the crashed plane, it follows her in the like 6 months leading up to the airport meeting, and then it follows the other one from the airport meeting on. and you find out that that one is like escaping an abusive relationship. The other one is like a drug dealer making drugs, and they're both like trying to escape their lives and all their hardships, troubles, whatever. People love this book. Like on Goodreads, it has amazing reviews. I gave it 3 stars, and I'm kind of thinking that that was generous because for a thriller, did not really enjoy it. So basically the story is kind of to like empower women, help them, well, to discuss them like needing to escape a troubled life, and you know, how being a woman plays a role in that and things like that. But both characters felt like such victims to me, and it was so weird. Like, why is the drug dealer like completely viewed as a victim? Like, she is creating and dealing drugs, and she didn't even get into it in like a scary way. Like, no one was like, make these drugs or I'll kill you. Like, she started making the drugs, got kicked out of college, and then started making drugs for somebody else, for like a real drug dealing crime boss. And the way the story is written is like, she's such a victim, this poor woman making drugs. Which, okay, yes, I'm sure there's a lot of hardships and troubles and sadness that comes with that, but like, I just did not like how this story was so much not really a thriller. Like, it was, I don't know, I'm sure it's a great story for like a different genre or description, but when I'm in the mood for a thriller, like, I want some powerful women who are like out doing bad stuff, maybe killing people or something, but not like being sad saps and finding a friend to confide in. And oh, I mean, sorry if you like this book, but I just, it was just gross to me, honestly. That's really harsh and rude, but I don't get it, okay? I just don't get it. That book just was not for me. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my beautiful charcuterie board, because I loved making it. Honestly, more than I enjoyed eating it. There are some weird, disgusting combinations that I accidentally made, but my favorite bite was probably the multigrain club cracker with a slice of brie, a piece of strawberry drizzled with honey, in case you wondered. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.